before this life?
Her name is Yuki, 4 years old. She lives with her parents in a small apartment in Osaka, Japan. Dark hair cut short, bright, curious eyes, a smile that lights up rooms. But when she moves, something changes. Her mother, Akari, first noticed it when Yuki was barely 3. The child would rise onto her toes with perfect balance, arms curved in positions that seemed impossibly graceful for a toddler. She would spin, leap, land with a lightness that defied her age. "Where did you learn that?" Akari asked, mesmerized and confused. Yuki looked at her mother with an expression of surprise, as if the question made no sense. "I've always known how to dance, Mama. From before, when I was Suzuki Reina, when I danced on the big stage in Tokyo." Akari exchanged glances with her husband, Kenji. They had never enrolled Yuki in dance classes. Their television rarely showed ballet. They had no connection to the performing arts world. Suzuki Reina. The name meant nothing to them. But Yuki continued, unprompted. "I danced, Giselle, and Swan Lake. The audiences came to see me. I was good, Mama, really good. My body knew exactly what to do." She demonstrated, moving through their small living room with a fluidity that seemed to belong to another body, another lifetime. Then her expression darkened. But then, the rain came. The car was going too fast. The lights, everything spinning. And then, I couldn't dance anymore. She touched her chest, her small face troubled. It hurt here, and then I couldn't breathe. And then I was gone. Akari felt ice in her veins. Her 4-year-old daughter was describing a death, a car accident, a previous life, as a professional ballet dancer. Over the following weeks, the statements accumulated. Yuki would wake from dreams, crying about the rain on the windshield and not being able to finish the season. She drew pictures of theaters with specific stage layouts. She hummed melodies her parents didn't recognize and moved through ballet positions with technical precision. One evening, Kenji filmed Yuki dancing in their living room. He showed the video to a colleague whose sister taught ballet. The colleague's response came back within hours. "That child has professional training. Those aren't beginner positions. Some of what she's doing requires years of study. Who is her instructor?" But Yuki had no instructor, no lessons, no exposure, just memories of being someone else, someone who danced, someone who died in the rain. Akari made a decision. She contacted Dr. Tanaka Hiroshi, a psychologist at Osaka University who had published research on unusual memory phenomena in children. Dr. Tanaka arrived at their apartment the following week, recording equipment ready, skepticism firmly in place. That skepticism would not survive the day. Dr. Tanaka spent the first hour simply observing Yuki play. The child was friendly, articulate, entirely normal in most respects. But when music began playing from another apartment, Tchaikovsky's Swan Lake, something shifted. Yuki's head turned, her posture changed. She rose from her toys and began to move. Dr. Tanaka watched, transfixed, as a 4-year-old girl performed movements that should have been impossible for her age, her training, her physical development. She executed a perfect arabesque, a series of pirouettes that showed advanced balance and control, port-de-bras arm positions that demonstrated years of muscle memory and artistic understanding. "Yuki," Dr. Tanaka said gently, "where did you learn to dance like that?" The child stopped, breathing lightly despite the exertion. "I told Mama already, from when I was Reina, from my other life, before I was born as Yuki." "Can you tell me about Reina?" And Yuki did. She described dancing with the Tokyo Ballet Company in the early 1980 seconds. She named specific productions Giselle, Swan Lake, La Sylphide. She described the theater where she performed, the lighting, the smell of rosin and stage makeup. She spoke about her body in that life. "I was tall, taller than Mama. My legs were strong. My feet hurt sometimes. But when I danced, I forgot everything else. I felt like I was flying." Dr. Tanaka took notes carefully. Specific details, verifiable claims. How did that life end, Yuki? The child's face fell. The rain. It was raining so hard. We were driving back from a rehearsal in Yokohama. The car, it went too fast. The road was so slippery. We spun. I remember spinning, like a pirouette, but wrong, scary. And then the crash, and then the pain in my chest, and then nothing. She looked at Dr. Tanaka with eyes too old for her face. I wasn't ready to stop dancing, but I didn't get to choose. Over the next 3 weeks, Dr. Tanaka documented everything Yuki said. He followed the protocols established by researchers studying children's past life memories, careful questioning, independent verification, no leading questions. He compiled a list of 23 specific claims Yuki made about her life as Suzuki Reina, prima ballerina with Tokyo Ballet Company, early 1980 seconds. Performed lead roles in major classical productions. Died in a car accident during rainy weather, returning from Yokohama. Specific theater descriptions and stage layouts. Names of several ballet colleagues. Technical ballet terminology used correctly. Descriptions of costumes, rehearsal schedules, performance venues. Then Dr. Tanaka began researching. Tokyo Ballet Company archives, newspaper databases, performance records from the 1980 seconds. What he found made his hands tremble. Suzuki Reina, real person, real ballerina, principal dancer with the Tokyo Ballet Company from 1978 to 1984. Died the 15th of March 1984 in a car accident on the Yokohama Expressway during heavy rain, age 29. She had been returning from a rehearsal in Yokohama. Every major detail Yuki had described matched the historical record. A 4-year-old girl in Osaka had accurately described the life and death of a ballet dancer who died 16 years before Yuki was born. Dr. Tanaka sat in his office, staring at the archival photograph of Suzuki Reina in costume, mid-leap, frozen in a moment of perfect grace. How could a child know this? Dr. Tanaka's research revealed something even more remarkable. Several of Suzuki Reina's former colleagues were still alive. 1. Matsumoto Yoko had danced alongside Reina for 6 years and now taught at a prestigious ballet academy in Tokyo. With the family's permission, Dr. Tanaka arranged a meeting. He told Matsumoto-sensei only that he was researching a child with unusual knowledge about ballet, nothing more. The meeting took place in a neutral location, a community center with a small dance studio. Yuki arrived with her parents, shy at first, clutching her mother's hand. Matsumoto-sensei, now in her 60s, greeted them warmly. She had brought photographs, videos, and memorabilia from her dancing career, as Dr. Tanaka had requested. "So, Yuki-chan," she said gently, "Dr. Tanaka tells me you love ballet." Yuki nodded, then tilted her head, studying the older woman's face. "You danced too," Yuki said. "Not a question, a statement." "Yes, I did. For many years." Matsumoto-sensei spread photographs across the table. Performance shots, backstage moments, group photos of the company. Yuki looked through them quietly. Then her small hand stopped on one particular photograph. It showed 2 ballerinas in costume for Swan Lake. One was Matsumoto Yoko. "That's me," Yuki said softly, pointing to Reina. "And that's you, Yoko-san. We danced together. You were Odile in this one. I was Odette." The room went silent. Matsumoto-sensei's face had gone pale. No one had told Yuki her name. No one had explained the photograph. "How do you know my name?" she whispered. "Because we were friends," Yuki said simply. "You helped me with my turns. You were better at the fouettes than me. I always got dizzy after 16, but you could do all 32 perfectly." Matsumoto-sensei's hand went to her mouth, Tears filled her eyes. Reina always said that, she breathed. She always joked that I should do her fouettes for her in Act 3. But how? How could you possibly? Dr. Tanaka intervened gently. Matsumoto-sensei Yuki believes she remembers being Suzuki Reina in a previous life. Matsumoto-sensei, at her previous life. The older woman stared at the child, at those bright young eyes that somehow held the memories of her dead friend. Show me, she said suddenly. Show me how you dance. Yuki stood. Matsumoto-sensei cued music on her phone. Tchaikovsky, The White Swan Pas de Deux. And Yuki danced. Her 4-year-old body moved through positions with impossible grace. Porte de bras, épaulement, the distinctive tilting of the head and shoulders that gave classical ballet its emotional expression. But more than that, she danced with interpretation, with feeling, with the artistic maturity that comes only from years of performance. Matsumoto-sensei watched, tears streaming down her face. That's Reina's style, she whispered to Dr. Tanaka. The way she held her arms, the slight pause before the arabesque, that was her signature. No one taught that. It was just her. When the music ended, Yuki returned to her mother's side, breathing lightly. Matsumoto-sensei knelt before her. Reina, she said softly. Yuki thought for a moment, then smiled. I said, don't worry, Yoko-chan. Spring is coming. We'll dance outside when the cherry blossoms bloom. Matsumoto-sensei broke down, sobbing. Those were her exact words. She managed. Her exact words. No one else knew. We were alone in the dressing room. It was just the two of us. She pulled Yuki into an embrace, holding the child who somehow carried her friend's memories, her friend's soul. You came back, she whispered. You came back to dance again. The meeting with Matsumoto-sensei opened doors. Former company members came forward. Archives were accessed. Performance footage was retrieved from the NHK Broadcasting Archives. 2 weeks later, Dr. Tanaka sat with Yuki and her parents, a laptop open before them. Yuki-chan, he said gently, I have videos of Suzuki Reina dancing. Would you like to see them? The child nodded, suddenly solemn. The first video began. A 1,982 performance of Giselle. The camera focused on the prima ballerina, Suzuki Reina, young and radiant, moving across the stage with breathtaking artistry. Yuki watched, absolutely still. Tears began sliding down her 4-year-old cheeks. That's me, she whispered. I remember that night. The lights were too hot. My costume was scratching. But when the music started, none of it mattered. She watched herself, her former self, dance the mad scene, the moment when Giselle loses her sanity and dies of heartbreak. I was so tired that night, Yuki continued. My feet were bleeding, but I loved that role. I loved showing people what it felt like to have your heart break, to dance through the pain. The video continued to Act 2, the ghostly Willis in the forest. Suddenly, Yuki sat forward. Wait, stop, go back. Dr. Tanaka paused the video. That turn is wrong, Yuki said, pointing. I didn't mean to do it that way. I was supposed to hold the arabesque longer, but my ankle was weak that week. I had to cut it short and cover with an extra turn. I was so angry at myself. Dr. Tanaka made notes. Later, he would contact Matsumoto-sensei to verify this claim. Her response? Yes. Reina sprained her ankle in rehearsal that week. She was furious with herself for the modification. She thought no one noticed, but we did. Yuki had identified a technical error in her own past life performance, an error caused by an injury no one outside the company knew about. They watched more footage. With each video, Yuki provided commentary that stunned the researchers. She critiqued her own technique. She remembered specific performances, specific audience reactions, specific moments of triumph and frustration. When they watched footage from her final complete performance, Swan Lake, February 1984, just 3 weeks before her death, Yuki went quiet. She watched her former self dance the iconic 32 fouettes, the spinning turns that are the technical climax of the ballet. "I was happy that night," Yuki said softly. "I didn't know I only had a few weeks left. I thought I had years, decades. I thought I would dance until my body couldn't do it anymore, and then I'd teach. I had so many plans." She looked at her small hands, her 4-year-old body. "But now, I'm small again, and I have to start over. But that's okay, because my body remembers. And this time, maybe I'll get to finish what I started." Matsumoto-sensei visited again, bringing more treasures from the past. Reina's rehearsal notes. Her point shoes, carefully preserved, a costume from Swan Lake. When Yuki touched the costume, she closed her eyes. "I remember this fabric," she whispered. "The weight of the feathers, how it felt to move in it, like flying, like being something more than human." The evidence accumulated beyond anything Dr. Tanaka had encountered in his career. A child with technical ballet knowledge she'd never been taught, recognition of people, places, performances, correction of technical details in archival footage, emotional responses consistent with genuine memory rather than fantasy. And most compelling, the physical ability, the muscle memory, the grace that shouldn't exist in a 4-year-old body. Dr. Tanaka documented everything. He consulted with researchers internationally who studied similar cases. He acknowledged what he couldn't explain and focused on what he could verify. Yuki knew things about Suzuki Reina's life that only Reina could have known. She moved her body in ways that suggested decades of training she'd never received. She remembered dying in the rain and being born again into a new life. And somehow, impossibly, she had brought her dancing soul with her. Today, Yuki is 7 years old. Her parents eventually enrolled her in ballet classes. How could they not? Her teacher, initially skeptical when told about the family's unusual story, became a believer within weeks. "She doesn't learn like other children," the teacher told Akari. "She remembers. It's like her body already knows. I'm not teaching her ballet. I'm helping her remember it." Yuki's memories of being Suzuki Reina are beginning to fade, as they often do in these cases. The specific details blur. The emotional intensity softens, but the dancing remains. "I don't remember everything anymore. I don't remember everything anymore," Yuki admits. "Sometimes I forget Yoko-san's face. Sometimes I can't remember the theater exactly. But when I dance, I remember how it feels, and that's enough." Matsumoto-sensei visits regularly. The older woman has become a surrogate grandmother, a living bridge between Yuki's past and present lives. Together, they watch old videos. They talk about ballet. They dance. "Sometimes I look at her," Matsumoto-sensei says, "and I see my friend. The way she tilts her head, the way she moves her hands when she explains something. It's Reina." And sometimes it's just Yuki, a beautiful child learning to dance. And somehow, both are true. For Dr. Tanaka, the case represents one of the most compelling examples of skill retention across lives he has ever documented. His research paper, carefully worded and meticulously cited, presents the evidence without claiming certainty. How do we explain a 4-year-old with professional-level ballet technique she's never been taught? How do we explain her recognition of people and places from a dancer who died decades ago? How do we explain muscle memory that seems to transcend the body that holds it? Science offers no complete answer. Skill shouldn't transfer this way. Bodies shouldn't remember what they never learned. Consciousness shouldn't carry abilities across the boundary of death. And yet, Yuki dances with grace that defies her years. She remembers performances she never attended. She corrects technical details in footage of a woman who died before Yuki was conceived. The evidence suggests something profound about the nature of consciousness, memory, and identity. Perhaps what we are, our skills, our passions, our essential selves, transcends the physical form that contains us. Perhaps death is not an ending, but a transformation, a step between stages in an ongoing journey. Perhaps Suzuki Reina did die in the rain on that March night in 1984. But perhaps something essential, her love of dance, her artistic soul, her grace, found its way back to the world, carried in the body of a child who would grow to dance again. Yuki still dreams sometimes of the car accident, the rain, the spinning, the impact, but increasingly, she dreams of dancing, of stages and lights and audiences, of the feeling of flight that only movement can bring. "I'm not afraid," she tells her mother, "even though I remember dying, because I also remember coming back. And that means maybe we never really end. We just change. We just begin again." In a small studio in Osaka, a 7-year-old girl rises onto point, her arms curve into position, the music begins. And for a moment, just a moment, Suzuki Reina dances again, her grace carried forward in new hands, new feet, a new heart that remembers. The body may end, but the dancer flies forever. If this story touched you, if it made you question what you thought you knew about consciousness, skill, and the continuity of the soul across lives, you're not alone. Every week, we explore another mystery, another child, another impossible memory that challenges everything we understand about who we are and what survives beyond death. Subscribe to Before This Life. Join thousands of truth seekers in this journey. Because some questions are worth asking. Some mysteries deserve our wonder, and some stories need to be heard. What's your theory about Yuki's abilities? Have you experienced unexplained skills or talents that seem to come from nowhere? Do you believe consciousness can carry abilities across lifetimes? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Let's explore this together. This has been Before This Life.